Another night, another question. Time to get started here. Let's see what we learned today on Quora. Let's go all the way here to the bottom. Okay, good. As far as we go. Okay. So let's go right here. All right. Let's see the first question. How do programs know what to code before they write code? That's actually interesting. I'm actually interested in that question because I do a little bit of web development. So let me see how other people think or their way of thinking. That should be interesting. All right. Let me see. Oops. Let's go back here. All right. Oops. Let's go back. Not supposed to be there. All right. Let's read more again. All right. Here we go. All right. Let you in on a secret. It's not very kept secret, but it must be a secret because not very many programs say what I'm about to say in the way that I'm about to say it. Ready? Okay, here it is. The structure of a software component follows from the structure of the data that it has to deal with. Here are some examples. If your data looks like an array, then the code that deals with it looks like a loop. Okay? If your data looks like an algebraic data type, the code that deals with it looks like recursion. Oh. If your data looks like a graph, then the code that deals with it looks like graph traversal. That's where you start. Look at the data, and that will typically dictate what has to be done first. Edit. I didn't expect this answer to take off quite as much as it has. This isn't a secret at all. It's the main idea behind structured programming. Data has structure, and therefore code that deals with structure is also structured. A lot of programming these days isn't algorithmic, and so in the real world, the first thing that's often written is a mock-up user interface so that the designers can iterate on it. Nonetheless, the job of any non-trivial program is ultimately to transform the data into other data for the kind of work that will outlast no code. This is the moneymaker. Okay, understood. All right, interesting. Okay, so I haven't dealt with that type of detailed in programming. I've just done basic Java, so Java and Python, but I haven't like created arrays for the arrays to do order to do something. That's an interesting concept right there. All right, let's see what's this. I'm 22 years old with zero debt. What advice could you give me on the role of leverage and wealth building? Let's pass on that one. Why did you stop going to retail stores that you used to frequently? All right. Why do dogs age so much faster than humans? What is one financial advice nobody follows? What should you do when people gang up on you? Uh, is dropshipping worth it, generally speaking? Let me see. What's the fastest you've ever seen someone fail a job interview? What kind of person is Stephen Colbert in real life? What are some psychological facts used to manipulate people? Oh, okay. This is interesting right here. Right here, it's like foot in the door technique. There's like, hey, I got you something. Can I get something else? I could name a few, but I don't use them. Here we go. Number one, help advance someone's goals to get them to do you a favor. It's a bit calculating, but it's right out of a Zig Ziglar. You'll get all you want in life if you help enough people get what they want. Wow. All right, two. Tweak the environment to get people to act less selfishly. Asking favors in a social setting rather than a business setting makes people more inclined to act like a friend than a business rival. All right. Three. Use a decoy option to get people to buy your product. Trying to get people to buy a more expensive version of your product, introduce a third option, one that's the same price but less effective. Wow. That makes sense. That way you can create value. So you can get, it's like saying, you can get this $20 pack of Energizer battery for like $20 that has like 12 volts, or you can get this 20 pack of half charge battery for $20 or something like that. So, um, so yeah, you create value. Say there's essentially the same product. One is half charge, one's full charge. So they just go with the full charge. All right. Focus on what your bargaining partner is gaining, not losing. Sounds fair, but if you're hiding that, you're offering someone a bad deal. I hope you're doing something else to balance out your karma. 5. Mimic people's body language. That's right, that's right. Mirroring helps a lot. I consciously control my body language, so I don't like, yeah, so I do that. So that means if they have one arm crossed, you have one arm crossed, but make it subtle. Don't make it obvious. Say, oh, this person's just mirroring me. So yeah, I try to look at that. So it says mimic people's body language to get them to like you. Research suggests if copy their body language, others are more likely to identify with you subconsciously, and that makes them more likely to do what you want. 6. Display an image of eyes to get people to behave ethically. When we see eyes, we feel like we're being watched, and we feel whatever we do will be observed and judged. Oh, like one of those big brothers watching you posters? Alright, number 7. Use nouns instead of verbs to get people to change their behavior. People think about their self identities when they hear nouns. When they hear verbs, they think of behavior. Noun wins. Okay, okay. Okay, so like saying that person's a scholar, right? That person's a scholar. So it's a thing, right? Or you'd be like, or you can say, sorry, not you be, or you can say, verb, right? Verb. That person is working fast, so that's a behavior. So you want to say, describe with nouns. Oh, the person's a scholar. Person is elite, So you got something like that, uplifting. But yeah, that's good. This is interesting information. All right, 8. Speak quickly to get an argument opponent to agree with you. Wow. Overwhelm people with your speed and wear them down. They'll sometimes agree because they can't process what you're saying and they don't want to admit it. Hmm. So here they're saying speak quicker, not louder, unlike debates. All right. Number 9. Ask people for favors when they're tired to get them to cooperate. Oh, they're vulnerable. That is so dirty. Okay. Similar to a few other ideas on the list, when people are worn down, they're more likely to agree. Car deals use this tactic. It's why it's so hard to simply show up and get a quote. Wow. Number 10. Scare people to get them to give you what you need. Oh my god. This is very manipulative. This is the core of most advertising. So like, yeah, so what they mean with scare, right? There's like act now, right? That's how they get you to act now. Like they create impulse. It's like if you don't act within the next 10 minutes, this offer is done. It's like that $10 off is over in 10 minutes. However, 10 minutes later, that that offer's still there and you feel gypped. So this is the core of most advertising. Make people fear something and then sell them the antidote. Yep. The 11, confuse people to get them to comply with your request. People don't want to admit they don't understand things, so they agree. The example given is to describe the price of something in pennies rather than dollars, since it takes longer to process. Wow. Some of these are just so dirty to use. Okay, let me see. On to the next. Alright, Snoop Dogg, a good person. Sometimes, like, when I see objective opinions like this, I just immediately skip, because, like, it's objective, everyone has their own opinions. You can't really, like, learn something from it. That's what I feel with these objective. Like the other one, psychological thing, that's kind of universal. Because like you can gesture with body language, right? That's universal. Body language is universal for the most part. For the most part, I say. Because there's certain things that we all do. So things that can't be controlled. That's the physiological aspect, such as uh, oh, the person's pupil dilated when they saw me. That means they like me. Or their pupils constricted when they saw me. That means they hate me. So some things like that can't be controlled. But body language can be consciously controlled, but those uh, physiological reactions to environment, That cannot be controlled. All right. Why do lifts/elevators have mirrors? That's a somewhat interesting question, but I'm not too interested in finding out why. All right. My current GPA is 4.9. I'm a freshman and around 12th in my class. The senior valedictorian has a 5.152. Do I have a chance of being valedictorian? How hard will it be to catch up? 5.15. Oh my goodness. Have fun with that. That's a bunch of honors class. All right. How do you deal with the boss who gives you a paltry raise and then routinely reminds you about it? Goodness. This is actually interesting. I don't mind actually looking into this. Okay, let's see what they say. Many years ago, I had a boss who I worked really hard for. I did most of his jobs for him. That's nice of you. I also used to train some store managers. So here I was training a store manager. Nice guy, nothing against him. He was getting paid more than me and I was training him. The madness. One moment. Apologies. I was looking after about after about 4 stores because we were short of managers. Training new ones, driving all over the country, plus looking after my own store. Pay raise time comes around, and I think surely I will get a decent rise this year. I received a letter with my pay rise amount for the next year. I called my boss and asked when he was next coming to my store. He came the next day. When he came into my office, I shut the door and said to him I had never been so insulted in all my life. I told him I didn't want the pay raise. I did not want to see it in my next salary and basically to stick it where the sun don't shine. I told him I no longer wanted to train his store managers. I would no longer look after the other stores and I wouldn't be driving all over the country for him. I was about 7 months pregnant and wow, pay discrimination here and with my third child, and I also told him I would be going on maternity leave in 4 weeks. I went on leave, and 2 weeks after I had my little girl, I got a phone call from him asking if we could meet. We went out for a coffee, I like saying coffee, and he apologized to me. He said I didn't realize how much you did for me until you weren't around, and could I please come back from leave early? I told him I would think about it. I went back when my baby was 6 weeks old. I didn't work for him much longer as I think he got fired. Can't quite remember now, but then got an awesome boss and was promoted. Anyway, don't stand for it. If you think you're worth more, then ask or use your feet and get another job. That's true. That's one of those things, one of those notions, quote unquote, closed mouths don't get fed, don't speak up. Well, you become complacent and they'll walk right over you. All right. What is the dark side of coding boot camps? Let's continue onwards. What marketing tricks do we unknowingly fall for? Uh, let's pass on that. How can companies threaten to fire people for refusing to work without pay? Let's pass on that. How can I make a small talk easier? Oh, this should be interesting. I actually don't mind sharpening up some social skills here. All right. So easy follow the help system. Health. Ask them how they are doing, slash feeling, slash etc. The general question that you normally ask to sort of open up a line of conversation. And then you have those resistant ones. You're like, how are you doing? Fine. Okay, they just hit you with fine, not NU, they say fine, and that's it. They close it. Just, so then it's like more open ended. Uh, what'd you think about today's task? Good. So they're like one worded response machines. So some of that you gotta just let it go. You gotta let it go. Just move on. All right. So what they suggest health, interesting, entertainment. Any good books you've read recently? This could also be where you ask about movies, podcasts, shows, sports, and other forms of entertainment as well. Uh, that's okay. You gotta see what their interests are. That's true. That's true. Find out what their interests are, and you can small talk on that. If their interest is makeup and you have no connection to makeup, good luck. Good luck with that. All right. Learning. Talk about something new you've learned or something new they've learned today slash recently. Anything interesting. This could be the subject of conversation. Yeah, learning. That's my thing. I always like talking about that. Passions. Ask about their hobbies, the thing they are interested in, and do for fun. Learn more about the things they love. Daisuki, you know. All right. In any case, avoid talking about controversial topics where you're looking to make light small talk. Things like politics, sex, religion, money, and all have a place, but preferably not when you're aiming for an acquaintanceship. Acquaintanceship. From the stars, dawn. That's not bad. Yeah. These are pretty good lists. Pretty good. All right. Let's see. Why don't homeless people move back in with their parents or relatives? I realize that some have disputes, but do all. Now, as I have first-hand experience with this, not like being homeless, but talking with the person who said, um, there was a person, they just wanted to be in the street and get drunk. They didn't want to like be with the family, so they just want to do their own thing. So that's one thing. They just want to be themselves, be by themselves. All right. Have you ever worked loads of overtime without pay, and when the work died down, went to leave 15 minutes early, but your boss refused to let you leave? Let's continue here. I think we have time for one more, maybe one or two. Let's see. 20-minute mark is almost up. All right. What college majors can and can't lead to a highly paying job? Your major is not a career. That's the truth right there. I think this would be interesting to read. Because, like, I could have a degree in puppet theater, but I can be the best programmer you ever met. So it's the degree is just pretty much saying you're teachable. Just, just that, it's teachable. Some areas you are barred from getting into some areas without a degree. For example, you can't be a doctor without a degree. That's illegal. So, but some areas is like, oh, you don't need a degree to be a programmer. Just do it. All right. What college? Okay, your major is not a career. Your major is not a career. Your major is not a career. My majors were English and history. I became a software engineer. See, look at this. One of my mentors had majored in studio art. On the flip side, I regularly get questions from the Quorans who say, I majored in computer science. Why can't I get why can't I get a job? Your major is not a career. Anyone who tells you otherwise is attempting to sell you on something. Major in what you love and start career planning from your first semester in college. Pursue both with passion, and if your career plan is reasonable and appropriate to your strengths, you will accomplish great things. If you don't get involved in career planning and experimental learning, you will struggle on the job market no matter what you major in. Your major is not a career. There you go. He said the truth. Let that be known. All right. Um, what are the common mistakes made by first-time house buyers? Uh, This is actually pretty interesting. Yeah, this is interesting. I'll read it. Here are all the mistakes I made on my first go. All right, let's learn from these. Number one, it was 1999, and my partner pointed out an ad in the paper displaying beautiful, brand new 4-bedroom houses for $169,900. But I knew I couldn't afford it. Mm. Because my parents told me it was impossible. That was San Diego. Anybody else go house shopping in San Diego lately? They are not 169K anymore. It's probably like $1 million now. Number two, the year is now 2000 and San Diego market was crazy hot. Now I am serious, but still dumb. I look and find a decent place and submit an offer before getting pre-approved for a loan. Needless to say, I didn't win that bid. Some of that was the realtor's fault. He should have known better. Make sure your agent knows what they are doing. I think I know how to do it. I'll do like this. That way we can actually scroll along. Number three, I eventually settled for a 2-bedroom condo situated right above someone else's garage and directly below a neighbor's, with a noisy kid and all with a beautiful view of a freeway. Needless to say, I've never felt lonely. Number four, only after we moved in did I discover how filthy the carpet was. It would have been so easy to get it professionally cleaned before we moved in. Number five, a nice tree blocked the view of the freeway and provided some shade and noise relief. And that was until I think that's some sort of tax, right? The tax cut it down. No. House, I forgot. Hold on, man. I forgot what that meant. All right, cut it down. When I complained to them about removing the tree, they cited maintenance and reminded me that they had asked the homeowners about it and made it clear that I should be attending their meetings. Yes, if you get into it, HOA, go to the meetings. Take the time to understand the issues and vote. 6. A couple of years later, the Navy, I was enlisted, transferred me to Pearl Harbor. My agent in Hawaii advised me to keep the San Diego condo, do a cash out refi, keep it as a rental, and use the cash out funds to buy a small house, which could be converted to another rental one day. The whole thing worked to where I would have gotten an extra $100 or so each month and would have been able to get into a small house for 280K, which would have been big improvement over what we had been living in. Nope, I was at the top of Mount Stupid. I wanted a big, nice house, so I sold the condo and bought a 40. Oh my God, 40K house. Oh, today that condo's worth more than double what I sold it for, and it would have been a great rental. The house went up in value too, which made my former partner very happy when she took it to the bank. Mm-mm. The biggest mistake I ever made was not buying when I had an opportunity in 1996. A small condo I looked at then would have sent me back 89,000. Today that condo is worth 280,000, but I had to have a new car instead. Oh my good. So here's the thing as well. So he could have got something that appreciated in value. You know, property usually appreciate in value instead of cars that depreciate in value. Always go for something that appreciates in value in the long run. Cars, I think it's within 2 years, the car like drops to half its value. So that means if I buy like a brand new I don't like this car, Mitsubishi Cross, if I buy that uh, for like 30,000, 2 years later I'll probably be able to sell it 15,000. So I just pretty much lost half my money if I ever want to sell it. So that's why I only buy used cars, because yeah, I just drive it for 2 or 3 years. But I only pay $1,000 for it, so that's pretty good investment, no? All right, all right, there you have it. Feel free to downvote me now. Oh, wait. Here are a few things I did right. One, I started looking and learning one lesson at a time, figuring out the buying process until I was ready to buy. Two, it took several attempts to get approved for a mortgage and get an offer accepted. So when I did get the first place, I was a hell of an achievement, even if it was just a crap hole. Sorry. Three, despite the lousy setting, my measly 5,800 of life saving invested in what condo returned 90,000 when I sold it, only 2 years later. Even the crappy place can make you rich if you time them right. Four, actually the dirty carpet was a pretty easy fix once we got settled and were really tired of seeing seeing the soles of our feet turn black simply from walking the bedroom to kitchen. I hired a professional carpet cleaner, and for $200, they cleaned the entire floor around the furniture we couldn't easily move. It was just like new, no more black feet. 5. I learned over the years through bad HOA experience to just stay out of them. Some of the best investments I made were non HOAs. There's always a risk of your neighbor doing something silly like painting their house purple, but who cares? For the freedom I get from those sons of HOAs, my neighbors can paint their house any color they want and dock a purple boat on their roof for all I care. It's so great to be free from the BS and monthly fees. 6. A year after I made the mistake of selling, I learned the rental lesson. My savvy agent advised me to do the cash out refi on the house, which I did and bought 3 small rentals. Oh, that's nice. When my partner took the house, I took the rentals. She got the better end of that, and it's all what you make of it. I took those 3 rentals and turned them into 7 much better rentals, applying all the hard lessons I already learned. That's nice. So this guy's living off passive income. All right, number 7. The 1996 car argument will never win. I obviously needed transportation. It's true. I could have just stayed in a bicycle and saved a ton of cash, even if I didn't buy the first investment. But that lesson today gives me the motivation to make better spending choices. In 2007, during the housing bust, I was never near bankruptcy, so I went back to riding a bike, assuming that ditching the car and going back to bicycling saved me an average of $500 per month. It adds up to about 7,200 saved over the past 12 years. Wow. Wait, 72,000, I think, yeah. And thanks to that bike, I've never been in better shape, considering Hawaii traffic is still probably the fastest ride in town. It's easy to argue in favor of a car until you realize what other wonderful things you could have if you find a way to live without one. So, what did I do without a car? Well, I bought a house, of course, and then I did some travel on bicycle, of course, and I bought another house and ate whatever I wanted and stayed thin because bling does that. Bought another house and traveled some more. Left the bicycle home this time. Okay, he took the train. Or as the Japanese say, the densha. And bought another house, but I lost that picture. So here's some food. Okay, should I stop now? Here it is. The biggest mistake I see people making is not investing because they are so involved with that darn car. Okay, upvote slash downvote me now. Cheers. Wow, that's a good one to end it off. So yeah, so let me think. So I could probably title this a good couple of ways. But all right, thanks for if you made it this far in the video. Thanks for watching, and if you like it, please give it a like and subscribe. I actually like doing this format here because I can see experiences and I also can give my opinion as well. And also the viewer can doesn't have to be bothered about reading the core themselves. They can just listen to me read. Sort of like a vlog. All right, y'all take it easy. Adios.